Hey everybody, happy Monday. Happy Monday. It's so good to see you all in the room. It seems that you are so excited to learn how to prepare, pivot, and perform, right? It seems so. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to know that you're in the room ready to prepare. I'm excited. I'm so excited to see that you are ready to take some notes today, asking some questions if you have them, and just get started. If you are new to the series, my name is Jamie Alexander. I am doing an 8 week Money Me series where we're talking about building big wealth by taking smaller steps. What we're doing is we're building big wealth by taking smaller steps, especially how the economy is flowing now. And we want to make sure that we are prepared, we're pivoting, and we're performing once we have transitioned and shifted. I'm excited. Again, my name is Jamie Alexander. Welcome to Money Me Mondays. Over the next 4 weeks, I think we have left of discussing, things to help the lower class and the middle class prepare for the shift that is coming. And we don't know when it's going to come. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, it could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, right? We don't know. But the thing is to prepare, pivot, and perform before any of that happens, right? We're not saying it's going to happen in a couple of weeks. It could, but the goal is to prepare, pivot, and perform. I wrote those 3 pillars down. And, a couple of weeks ago, we started talking about preparing. You should already have your notes. We talked about preparing. We talked about how you can prepare. We talked about what it looks like preparing, right? And so we pivoted, right? We shifted into pivot, the pillar of pivoting. And we talked about what is pivoting last Monday. We talked about what is pivoting. Right, you're right. We talked about what is pivoting last time. We talked about why we should pivot. And we also, talked about what the fear of pivoting, like why, people just refuse to shift, right? And I threw in, some faith-based biblical scriptures up in there for you. If you know the scripture that I, gave an example to who was able to pivot in the Bible, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Let me see if you've been paying attention. Let me see if you've been studious, right? On these Money Me Mondays. So we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue on our pillar of pivoting or pivot. But before I do, I'm excited to share, guys. This we are gonna have a special guest, and I'm so excited. I won't share a name. I won't share a gender, but I'm so excited for this person to come on and share how we can prepare, pivot, and perform on a bigger level. Like, I am giving you guys tips and revelation from a level that I'm on, but it is so, so amazing when we can hear someone share on the $1 million status, right? On the $1 million level. So I'm so excited. I'll share the special guest once, down the line and once we finalize everything. But be on standby, guys. Be on standby for the special guest to give us just to give us some, behind the scenes, a little bit deeper, some more practical steps, right? On what it looks like to prepare, pivot, and perform on a higher level, right? I come on and I share where I am. I try to help and give the low income, those that are making $0 to 6 figures. I want to talk to those people. But then and I'll be honest, like, I don't got the $1 million bag yet. I'm not carrying the $1 million bag yet. Okay. I haven't. your girl haven't secured the millions yet. And so I want to make sure that I'm covering the entire spectrum. I want to make sure that all classes can glean from these pillars of preparing, pivoting, and performing, right? Because you're probably like, hey, I'm making millions of dollars. He can't, I can't probably give you information that could do you any justice, right? So it's probably being dismissive. When in reality, even millionaires still need to what? Prepare, pivot, and perform. Even millionaires still needs to have a system in place. So I am excited about the special guest that's going to come on and share with you guys. That's how much I love y'all. Okay. That's how much I love y'all that I am willing to bring on special guests to pour into you because why? We are in a critical time when it comes to the economy. We are in a critical time when it comes to finances. And I want to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence, right? Because I have, you know, strategies. I have fruit to show those that are struggling on a certain level, right? There's other people that have a bag bigger than mine. And even though the same, even though the resources can still be used, some people can come across as dismissive and think, oh, well, she don't have as much money as I do, so I'm not going to listen to her, which is fine, friend. I have somebody that's probably making the exact same or more money than you that want to come on in and share so that you can guess what? And you can do what? Build bigger wealth by taking those smaller steps, even at that grand level. So other than that, I wanted to get that out of the way because again, I'm so excited. We are still talking about pivots. Amen. We are talking about pivots. P-I-V-O-T. And today I want to talk about this acronym. There's an acronym of pivot that popped in my head that I want to share with you all. And I want you to take your notes like you always do. Grab your pen, take your notes. Pivot. We already talked about what is pivot, why you should pivot, the fear of pivoting. But I want to break down the acronym that I wrote down that I want to share with you so that you can take it with you and actually sit on it and think about it for the rest of the week while you're reviewing your notes, while you are making, your budget, while you are watching the news and reading the articles, while you are, cooking dinner and talking with your husband or talking with your wife and implementing a new plan. I want you to think of this acronym of pivot. And I want you to put it in the chat. Write the each letter. And let's start with P. P. Pushing. Okay. We already know when it comes to pivoting or any type of pivot, you gotta push. You gotta push. You gotta do some type of opposite movement. You gotta push yourself. And I want you to think about where you are right now. And I want you to muster up enough strength to say, you know what? Where I am is not my final destination. Go ahead and put that in the chat. Where I am is not my final destination. Where I am is not my final chapter. Where I am is not the end of my story. That's pushing. Because what? You're pushing your mind, you're pushing your spirit, you're pushing your strength, you're pushing your soul to say, hey, where I am is not going to be forever. That it goes into the mindset. It goes into that growth mindset. We don't want a fixed mindset. We want a growth mindset. A growth mindset to say, hey, if I put this thing and if I put in the hard work and if I do my due diligence and if I continue to speak it into existence, it's gonna happen. So Pete pushing. We pushing this thing. We're ending the first half of 2023 with pushing. We are going into quarter three. We are going into the third quarter of 2023 pushing. Push that thing. Push that purpose out. Push that book out. Push that business out. Push those ideas out. Don't let those vision boards or prayer boards that you did in January, February collect dust. Push that thing out as we are talking about pivoting, as we are talking about moving with the flow of changes of the economy. Push that thing out. Pushing. P is for pushing. There we go. Yeah. Let's see it in the chat. Fire it up. P is for pushing. But what are we pushing? I'm glad you asked. We are pushing innovation. That's what we're pushing. Pushing, 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 pushing. Let me stop being silly. I want to put a little fun in there. We're pushing innovation. We are pushing innovation. We're pushing out new things, new ideas, new ways, new adventures, new technologies. We want to push out new methods. We want to push out, thank you. We want to push out the old and push in the new. We want to push innovation, pushing innovation. Put that in the chat. I is for innovation. So we got P for pushing. I, innovation, pushing innovation. What we're doing? Oh, okay. What we're doing, we're spelling out pivot because we're still talking about pivot. So we're spelling out pivot. That's P-I-V-O-T. And I have an acronym. I have a letter or phrase or a word of encouragement for each letter in pivot. So P-I-V-O-T. We on letter I. So P is for what? Pushing. I is for what? Innovation. We are pushing out innovation. We're pushing out new. We're pushing out new methods, new strategies. Get the new out. But before we can get the new out, I don't know what this is for, but you got to release the old. And that's what pivoting is all about. We're not changing the dream. We're not changing the vision. We're just changing the strategy. We're not changing the vision of the business. We are just restructuring how we can get there. Because there's more than one way to become a millionaire. There's more than one way to become a billionaire. But you got to push it. Are you pushing it? Are you pushing innovation? Are you pushing new ideas? Are you still throwing your net out there? Remember the example that I gave last Monday? Are you still pushing your net out? Are you going deeper in this thing? Right? Or are you staying on the surface? Come on, come on. I'm Coach Jamie right now. I'm your coach right now. Listen, we got to get it. We can't leave nobody behind. Okay? We can't leave nobody behind. Nobody can say, hey, nobody told me, nobody encouraged me. Hey, Coach Jamie right here. I'm trying to push you. So let's go on. So far we got P, pushing. I, innovation. V, versus. What we up against? We up against old things. We up against stagnation. We're up against doing the same thing over and over again. We up against comfort. Come on. Somebody out there so comfortable doing it the way they've been doing it. They don't want to change. That's what we up against. We are up against, we are versus, in the world. I don't know if y'all seen or watched a versus before, but it is some content where you got, top artists in that category and they go against each other and see who has the best catalog, or they see who has the most, top hits. And, the crowd is just in the comments and they having a good old time, right? Versus pushing innovation thinking versus what, Jamie? Versus obsolete. 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 Oh, Put that in the chat. Oh, for obsolete. Pushing innovation thinking versus obsolete. Obsolete what? Thinking, talking, technology. That's for the T. So we got a phrase and a letter for each word, each letter in pivot. P, pushing. I, innovation, innovative thinking. V, versus. Versus what? What are we up against? You're up against obsolete thinking, obsolete talking, obsolete technologies, right? And we can see that in the world when it comes to obsolete technologies. It's advancing. We way from MySpace. We're a long ways from MySpace. We're a long ways from, internet dial-up. We're a long ways from those obsolete technologies in the past. Obsolete talking. How are you talking right now? Are you talking well? Are you talking, where you want to go? How is your language? How is your everyday language? Are you speaking things that are not as though they are? I'm a woman of faith, so I got to put my scriptures out there. Are you talking? Are you speaking it into existence with the work behind it? How are you talking? If it's obsolete talking, that's old. We're not doing that anymore. And thinking, obsolete thinking. How are you thinking right now? Is it still old? You got to get rid of it. Is it generational thinking? Does your mom think like that? Does your grandmother used to think like that? Does your aunts and cousins think like that? Is your children starting to think like that? Like, we want to get rid of all obsolete thinking. And I know it's difficult because it's like drinking water. It's natural. You start saying things that are not lining up with where you're trying to shift and where you're trying to go. You got to catch yourself. Put a guard over that mouth. You got to catch yourself. But we want to be the PI in pivot, not the OT. We want to be the PI, pushing innovation versus obsolete thinking, talking, in technologies. Write it down. Yep, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. It's true. It's so true. We want to push innovation. And it's not a scary thing. And many people thinking, oh, well, this change is scary. I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. That's what? Obsolete thinking. That's old thinking. That's old thinking that's not going to work in 2024, 2025, 2026, 2030. Those ways, those mindsets not going to work. So let's get it now. So let's go over it real quick before we go. P is what? Pushing. I is what? Innovative thinking. V, versus, real simple, because what we're up against. That's all you can think about is V. What are you up against? You're up against obsolete what? O is for obsolete. T. T, thinking, talking, technologies. Perfect. Y'all are on the roll tonight. Listen, I'm excited. We're going to continue to talk about pivoting with our special guest. And then we're going to end the Money Me series talking about performance, like what it looks like, practical steps on how to perform on the level of big wealth, right? And that's wherever level you're on, whether you're starting at 20K a year and you now at 60K, or if you're at 60K and you are now at six figures, what does that look like? Practical steps. What does that look like? So I'm looking forward to performance, strategies on performing, right? And you already know, remember, I'm doing these free Money Me series not only because my calling or I have a desire to see people win financially, but because I see futuristically. God deals with me with things to come. I'm gonna share this with you and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let y'all go. I was in the car and I was looking out the window and God, I guess he was reading my heart, and God was like, what you're doing now really won't really, they'll really need it in the next year or two. Not right now. I understand because a lot of people, and I didn't take it the wrong way, because he deals with me futuristically. And even though some people would harness this information and start building on it and start using it, but a lot of people, a good chunk, majority of the people will hear it and they will wait a year or two to act on it and will sit back and be like, and will try to like scramble at the very last minute to hear what was said now, 2, 3 years from now. So I want to encourage you to get the course, do the work now so that you won't be scrambling a year or two from now when it all burst open. You can be like, hey, I did the Money Me challenge. I did the Money Me financial course. I'm making big wealth because I took the smaller steps, right? And I did what I needed to do at that time it was given. So that in a year or two, when other people are scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on, you're sitting back and you're helping other people. You're sitting back and like, I'm enjoying my wealth because I did my work, but I'm willing to help. You'll be on the other side of the spectrum. And that's the side of Excel. That's the side of refreshing. That's the side of, man, I did it. Like I put in the work, I did the steps, I pivoted, I changed, I went in the deep end, and now I can celebrate. Now I can help other people get there too, even though, it'll probably be a little bit worse than where we're going than now. So I want you to go ahead, make that investment, click the link in the comment, take the course so that you can start building big wealth by taking those small steps. Listen, I'm excited for you. I'm glad that you were able to catch Money Me Mondays at 7 o'clock. I'm only on for 30 minutes. But it's every Monday for the next 4 Mondays or 3 Mondays. We have a special guest coming on to share how they were able to prepare, pivot, and perform, making millions of dollars. Okay. I'm so excited for them to come on. Um, and I'm just trusting that you are encouraged enough to make that investment in yourself to start. You got to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere and let this week be a reminder that you need to pivot. This is not about selling anything. This is preparing you. Yes, it comes with you making an investment in the course, but it's more so of preparing you for what's to come futuristically to save not just you, because it's not about you. This is an investment for your children's children. Like, yes, you are the one investing in it, but what's going to come out of it is going to hit your children, your children's children, and your children's children's children. Okay? Go ahead, get that Money Me personal finance course, and I will see you all next Monday. Thank y'all so much. Yes, thank y'all so much for hopping on. You're awesome. Thank you. Until next time. Bye, guys.